With a 7 on 10 for Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, a movie I was really looking forward to for quite a while. It's a plot which holds a lot of promise. The cast is excellent. Edward Zwick is the director, reuniting with Tom Cruise after Last Samurai. So there's a lot to kind of hang on this film, but strangely, it just falls a little flat. Uh, it never really rises to great heights. Uh, there's great action, but you never truly feel invested in the film. Cruise is in touch with Kobe Smulders over the phone. You'll have noticed Kobe as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Avengers films. She's a captain, a major in the US Army here, and they're at first in touch for work. And later on, there's a undercurrent of flirting happening, and Tom Cruise promises to take her out for dinner by the time he gets to Washington, D.C. However, by the time he arrives, she's in jail, and Tom Cruise now has to figure out why. The bad guys have also figured out something from his past which they want to use as emotional leverage. Uh, they are represented with lots of these anonymous gun toting type guys, but the key man is Patrick Husinger. He's very good as a guy with a lot of menace. In fact, in one scene, he manages to kind of beat up both Tom Cruise and Kobe Smulders single-handedly. So he's a guy with potential in that sense. The action remains great. I think there's a word they use in the middle of the film called saying feral, and it really is feral. What I like about Jack Reacher series is there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat. It's not so much about explosions and special effects. There's a lot of choreographed action that happens, and it's pretty easy on the eye in that sense. The supporting cast is pretty good. There's Aldous Hodge, there's Danica Yarush, all good, but somehow the movie never really rises to great heights. Uh, it there's a lot of things which are improbable which happen throughout the film. There's a chase across an airport tarmac. I mean, you'd get shot before you had finished 100 yards on an airport tarmac. And strangely, you never really feel even for any of the characters, even though they're really trying to build a stronger emotional connect here. You just don't feel for anyone in reality. I mean, you root for Tom Cruise and Kobe just because you don't want the bad guys to win, not because of who they are in that sense. So it's a film which doesn't rise to the kind of heights that you had expected it to. Tendency, I don't know if you've noticed it, of US films pointing out to military contractors as kind of being the bad guys. That's the case here. It was the case in the first Jack Reacher, where the guys he shot who had done the kind of gang roast were military contractors too. There's another film called State of Play where Russell Crowe and Ben Affleck star, which also had military contractors as the kind of impending militarized force on US soil. And here as well, you have these guys running around with automatic weapons, permits, etc., kind of running amok on you. So it's a kind of a good thing that I've noticed, a side effect of all the US military invasion, so to speak. Very good, very competent in the film, but nobody really catches your eye in that sense. Nobody sets the screen on fire. Some of the best moments involve Tom Cruise with Kobe Smulders and Danica Yarush. There's some conversations between them that are great fun. You never do figure out why Tom Cruise had busted Aldous Hodge down a rank when he was his commanding officer. You don't figure out why Tom Cruise had made that dent on his desk. These are things I think that are left unsaid, probably for good reason. I was actually going to make the whole review earlier a comparison versus the first Jack Reacher, but then obviously that would be unfair for people who've not seen the first one. I would recommend the first one extremely highly. I think I rated it 8 or something like that. This one is a notch below. You feel extremely strongly, passionately for the characters in the first one. In this one, they just don't manage to grab you emotionally as well. Sad, but that's the case. Good action. You can kind of just sit back and relax, but unfortunately, not much more. Thanks.